This is a Melody's Ambience podcast. Hello, my name is Melody, and welcome to Melody's Ambience Sleep. This podcast is about helping you relax, unwind, and drift off into a peaceful night's sleep. Each episode usually has 25 minutes of calming ambient sounds and soothing music, paired with a new story or poem, read by me in my soothing voice. However, this special episode will have something a little different. Join me in a moment of winter peace and hopeful solitude in my old cottage, where I feel ready to embrace the quiet changes of the new year. Since this episode is going to be a little different, then let's begin. The stillness between. The silence here was not empty. It was heavy with the scent of wood smoke and the promise of snow. I sat within the deep alcove of the window, pressing my hand against the chilled glass. Outside, the lane was buried under a fresh blanket of white, untouched and glowing under the moon. My cottage felt like a ship adrift in a frozen ocean. The thick stone walls kept the warmth gathered tight around me. There was no sound of engines, no hum of daily life, only the rhythmic ticking of the grandfather clock in the hall. I looked at the calendar on the wall. A fresh page hung there. The first few days were done. It felt momentous, yet entirely ordinary. This village had seen centuries of New Years, each one layering over the last like sediment in a riverbed. A cup of tea sat steaming on the small table. The bergamot aroma drifted up, mixing with the smell of the pine logs burning in the grate. I took a sip, letting the heat spread through my chest. Winter here was a time for rest. The earth was sleeping, preserving its energy for the explosion of green that would surely come in spring. I felt a kinship with the soil, a need to lay fallow for a while. Last year had been a storm. So much had shifted. But tonight, the turbulence was gone. I felt a sense of peace settling over me, soft as the snowflakes drifting down beyond the pane. The garden was a sculpture park of ice. The rosemary bush was a huddled shape of crystal. I imagined the bulbs beneath the frozen crust, waiting for their cue. They did not worry about the cold. They simply endured. I pulled my woolen cardigan tighter. It was old, hand-knitted, a comfort against the chill that tried to seep in through the cracks. In these modern times, we often forgot the value of mending things, of keeping the old useful. My thoughts drifted to the future. It was a blank canvas. Usually, That thought frightened me. Tonight, it felt like an invitation. Anything could be written there. I watched a single ember crack and land on the hearth. It glowed bright orange, then faded to gray ash. A tiny life, spent in a moment. I wanted to burn slowly, to savor every second of the coming months. A fox barked in the distance, a sharp sound that accentuated the quiet. I wondered if he was cold, or if his winter coat kept him safe. He was part of this wild tapestry, just as I was. The shadows in the room grew long as the fire dipped low. I should have added another log, but I was too comfortable to move. The lassitude of the season was upon me. I shut my eyelids for a moment. The world vanished, replaced by the warm dark. It was a safe place, a sanctuary within a sanctuary. In the darkness behind my eyes, I saw colors. The vibrant purple of wisteria that would climb the front wall in May. The bright yellow of daffodils. Hope was not a concept. It was a memory of color. Changes were coming. I knew this. But they would be gentle, I decided. Like the turning of the tide, inevitable but rhythmic. I would not fight them. I thought of the village church, its spire visible above the tree line during the day. It stood as a reminder of permanence. Things endure. I would endure. The dream state was encroaching. My limbs felt heavy and warm. The worries that usually plagued my mind at night were absent, banished by the serenity of the snow. I felt a profound gratitude for this solitude. It was not lonely. It was a rich, full feeling. I was enough. This house was enough. The moment was complete. Dear listener, I hope the quiet of my winter evening has offered you a moment of sanctuary. It is easy, in the rush of our days, to fear the silence, but I wanted to share with you the peace that lives within it. Winter is not merely an ending, it is a pause, a deep breath taken before the song begins again. If you are facing changes or uncertainties this year, remember the sleeping garden. Growth is happening, even when the ground seems frozen and nothing shows on the surface. Please take this stillness with you. Let it be a reminder that you are allowed to rest, you are allowed to wait, and you are allowed to hope. The spring will come, and your time to blossom will arrive just as surely as the sun rises. Be kind to yourself in this new season. You are stronger than the cold and brighter than the gray. With all my love, Melody. Thank you so much for listening. In the next episode, we will return to the usual ambience of calm and peace.